Hey, football fanatics, Scott Gulbransen here with Sportsnaut.com. We appreciate you guys being with us as we take a look at the biggest game of the week, at least in the view of our guest, as we have every week. And that, of course, is our NFL managing editor, David Kull. Today, last week, we looked at a big Cowboys game. They were playing the Eagles. And no, we're not a Cowboys website. We just go with what game is the one to watch. And this week's game to watch is the Cowboys traveling up to Orchard Park to play the Buffalo Bills in a big game. And David, the Cowboys proved something last week. They beat the Eagles. Yes, it was at home, but now they go on the road. They feel disrespected. They are underdogs to the Bills. And with the Dallas Cowboys having reached 10 wins for the fourth straight season, and not only that, only the fourth team in the Super Bowl era to win 8 games by 20 more points, they feel disrespected. Are they being disrespected, or do they still have something to prove?
No, I don't think they're being disrespected at all. They do have something to prove because they're 3-3 on the road. So if you're 3-3, you're a 500 team on the road. They're 7-0 at home. Yeah, so they still have something to prove. Now they proved something big last week by beating the Eagles by 20 points at their field. That was something that showed that, yeah, they're a legitimate Super Bowl contending team. I think we've thought that all along about them. It's just that they had to beat somebody of quality. They had to beat a winning team. And that was the first time all season that they've really beaten an elite team in the NFL. So they did that last week, but now they're on the road playing another team that is very tough at home. The Buffalo Bills, 7-6, but I think they're the best 7-6 team in the league, if I could say that. Their 6 losses were by 6 or fewer points. And so they're in every football game. Of course, with Josh Allen at quarterback, they are going to be in every football game. So, yeah, the Cowboys going up there, tough environment in Buffalo, having to play a very quality football team that's now starting to get it together again after last week's victory against Kansas City. So I think this is just another opportunity for the Cowboys to prove that they are among the top 2 or 3 teams in the NFL, if not maybe even in the argument for the best team.
Yeah, and it's exciting too because you have that high-powered offense of Buffalo who's putting up about 27 points a game roughly versus the Dallas defense, which is only giving up just under 18 points a game. So they're sort of on a collision course. And yes, the Bills, there's lots of questions about their window closing and all that. But as we say all the time here on Sportsnaut.com and many of our stories and videos, the way that you win in the NFL these days, yeah, you got to win in the trenches, but you have to have that quarterback. You have to have that transcendent quarterback, and they have it in Josh Allen. And yes, he does turn the ball over too much. He's done that again this year. But as we saw in a big game like he did in Kansas City, he went in there, protected the ball, and really led his team. What do you expect Buffalo to do to attack that Dallas defense on Sunday?
All it's going to take, really, Scott, is just consistency with Josh Allen. He's the be-all, end-all of that team and that offense. Everything starts with him. He has to be on his game that night. Of course, the Cowboys are going to throw everything at him but the kitchen sink to try to stop him. But if you stop Josh Allen, you stop the Buffalo Bills. It's plain and simple. And as we've seen with the Buffalo Bills, he's often the leading rusher in addition to doing what he does in the passing game. So it's going to be all about stopping Josh Allen, and really what the Bills, and everybody knows it, and the Bills know that everybody knows it. So what they're going to come out and do is just try to get Josh Allen in situations where he can succeed, where he can excel, and move the Bills down the field, move the chains, and get in scoring position and make plays like only Josh Allen can, because everybody knows that when Josh Allen is on, he's probably arguably the best quarterback in the league because of his skill set.
Yeah, I mean, that big arm, the ability to run, the ability to move, create out of the pocket on the fly, it's fantastic. So when he protects the ball, he's definitely one of the best in the league. Now, we go to the other side of it, Dak Prescott. Listen, I was the guy a few weeks ago saying, Dak Prescott's not in the MVP conversation. I have to say I was wrong, because you look at what Dak Prescott has done. He's completing 70% of his passes. He's got over 3,500 yards. He's got 28 touchdowns against only 6 interceptions. And he really has made that offense go. Mike McCarthy taking over the play calling after Kevin O'Connell left to go to Los Angeles. It's worked. They've gotten better since Mike McCarthy's taken over the play calling. What do you see on that offense? What's Dak Prescott doing in order to get the results you see from the Cowboys recently?
He just has to continue going out there, distributing the ball to his weapons, CeeDee Lamb and company, as he's been doing at home. Here's the thing with Dak Prescott. So Dak Prescott at home, the last 5 games, they've scored 40 points a game. That's been their average at home the last 4 games. 40 points a game. This is the type of week where Dak Prescott can prove he is the top MVP candidate. He has to go out and go on the road and win in Buffalo to show that, yeah, I'm not just a product of my home environment. I can actually go out and win a tough road game in Orchard Park, New York, against a tough Buffalo Bills team. So if Dak Prescott is going to be the MVP of the National Football League this year, it starts at a place like Buffalo where he can go out and do the exact same things he's been doing in his home environment.
Yeah, he's got a really good shot because of that tough schedule. As we said, the Bills this week, the Dolphins next week, followed by the Lions. Now, the Dolphins and Lions have struggled a little bit, so it looks really difficult. We'll have to see if those two teams bounce back. And then, of course, they close out with the Commanders, a little bit of an easier game, even though it's a division game. But when you look at these two teams, even though the Cowboys have that record and they're clearly a playoff team, the Bills still fighting on the AFC side to get in. So to me, that's why this is a big game. You got one team fighting for its playoff life, and then you got the other team fighting to prove that it's a top 2 seed in the NFL and obviously fighting for the number 1 seed in the NFC. To me, that makes a big game. How do you see this one coming out?
Well, I like Buffalo at home in this game because of the close games that they've had. As I've said, with their 6 games that they've lost by 6 or fewer points on every occasion. Something would happen at the end of the game, like the Denver game where they went out, their field goal unit went out there, and Denver was kicking a game-winning field goal, missed the field goal, but they had 12 men on the field. So Denver gets 5 yards closer, kicks the game-winning field goal. That's how they lost that game. They've lost some very close games this year, but I expect them to get it done at home. Again, the Cowboys are vulnerable on the road, 3-3 on the road. They've lost to the Cardinals on the road. They lost to the 49ers on the road, and they lost to the Eagles. And I see this being a close game, but in the end, I see Buffalo winning 30-27.
There you go. So we'll get up in those near 30 for both teams. And it's going to be fun. Either way you look at it, it's going to be, I know Cowboy fans won't be happy to hear you pick the Bills, but it is a home game. And you know what? Yes, upsets happen on the road. And yes, the Cowboys are a very good team, but it's a tough place to play. There's no question about it. And the Bills are starting to, I think, pick up the pieces and play better. So it's going to be good. You can always find, and we're going to have a bunch of coverage up on the site this week around this game, including Sunday. So make sure you check out sportsnaut.com. Also, do us a favor. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel here, as well as hitting those notifications bells. That's the way you get notified whenever we have a new video. And David, we appreciate, as always, this talk we have every week with you. And I know everybody can check out your work up on the site as well as it relates to this game and others. We appreciate you being with us.
Thanks for having me, Scott, as always.
All right, football fanatics, until next week, have a good weekend and enjoy the football.